I hope everyone here is using some sort of technology, be it some transactions or software in implementing your business and its operations. But here we have three stalwarts who are here to share you some tech secrets which can help you in being more productive and enhance your business. So with that, let me ask few important strategies or processes that these people are implementing, which can be also be useful for each one of us. And these days we are hearing a lot on artificial intelligence and AI. I'm sure most of you are aware of ChatGPT and used some sort of ChatGPT is one of the AI tool. But let's hear from Amit ji. Amit ji, can you help us on how AI can increase the efficiency of an MFD and the business?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And I think that lunch will not interfere in learning. I like greedy people who are greedy for learning. And I think the room is full of greedy people who know how to learn. So I will not be disappointed. So let me first give you a background of the topic before I come to answer the question. So there are two words used here. One is distribution, second is disruption. And I'll try to put a theory in place of you, in front of you, and try to understand if it is something which is relatable. Disruption has three unique varieties. One of the way to disrupt the market is to create a better product or service. The second way to disrupt the market is to give that product or service at a cost which is cheaper than what is available today. And third way to disrupt the market is to give the product or service to those people who don't have access to that. Okay, so these are the three broad varieties of disruption. And if you transpose this on the MFD business, there is a standalone MFD who is trying to create better version of product and service for his clients. There is a RIA model which tries to bring down the cost of service for the client. And there is a set of people who run a B2B model where they bring out the service and product for people who didn't have the access to that. All three of us are in the last category who are on the stage. And technology can impact all three. So either you are trying to provide a lower cost outcome or output, or you are trying to create a better version of product, or you want to create an ecosystem where people who didn't have the access and the product was not available to them, they can have the access. And look at one very important thing is that all of these three models use a commodity. Okay, and that commodity cannot be stored. It is perishable. It is limited in supply. So what will you do to a commodity which is limited in supply, cannot be stored, and is perishable in nature? Will you give a lot of importance to that commodity? What do you think? Right? So typically people give a lot of importance to commodities which are scarce, limited in supply, cannot be stored, or perishable. But we normally don't give that because that commodity is called time. Okay. So how do you treat time is important. And when he says efficiency, we are talking about efficiency means that how can you use time to create better results. Okay. And efficiency also have got four variants. You give the same output with a lower input, that's efficiency. You put the same input and give a better output, that's also efficiency. You increase your input by X, output goes up by more than X, that's also efficiency. So which efficiency you want to do, that's up to you and up to your business practice, but efficiency can come with use of technology. So this is a small background. Now, there are many functions that an MFD is doing where there's a touch point with the client. For example, you are doing a lot of interaction with the client on portfolios. But do we really work on the portfolios and make sure that they remain close to what they have been decided upon when it was started? And what I found is that there are a lot of portfolios which start on a particular asset allocation model. With time, there is mark-to-market movement, there is purchase, redemption, switches, and after a few years, it lands up somewhere else. Even when you add a scheme or redeem a scheme, you don't know whether it's going to impact asset allocation, what kind of impact it's going to have on large cap, mid cap, small cap allocation. We have no clue about it unless we have some kind of a AI tool built into the portfolio. And obviously, there is a requirement to engage with the client and make sure that whatever allocation you decided in the first place should be maintained throughout the journey of the life. So if you have said that 50, 30, 20 is large, mid, and small, and after 5 years you find that this ratio has changed, but do you know is that changed and how much it has changed? When somebody redeems fund from a portfolio, it also changes. But do you see what's the change going to happen? And when you add funds, it also changes. So there is basic requirements of keeping the promise and the commitment intact of the portfolio that has been built for a client, and that can be obviously dealt with through the use of AI. Another very, very interesting piece of efficiency can be done when you find out who are the clients who are most likely to transact. So everybody has got hundreds of clients. So suppose they've got 100 clients, how many of them will transact next month? The ratio will be 10%, 15%, 20%. Do you know which 20% will transact next month? If the answer is yes, that's great. But the answer is no. Can you predict basis the AI model? Can you predict basis the history, the pattern, and the behavior of the client for last so many years? Yeah, it is possible. So you can predict which 20% will transact next month and try to build engagement for these clients first, rather than going and spreading out yourself thin and going to all the 100 clients. So two very clear examples of efficiency. One is increasing your productivity in sales by focusing on predictive analysis. And second is making sure that your portfolios remain true to label and intact as promised when they were built.
Great insights, Amiji. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now let me ask a question to Shirish. So everyone must be using some transactional platform as a technology enabler. But beyond transactions, what do you think a technology can help an MFD?
So basically today we are talking about AI and predictive analysis and everything. But I believe the major problem with our industry, today most of the MFDs are, of course, I think they are using the softwares and everything. But all these softwares, mainly they are focusing to use for the transaction purpose. इसमें से बहुत सारे सॉफ्टवेयर्स होंगे कि they might be giving the additional features as well, but I have not seen most of the MFDs using those tools. Many of the softwares will be very, very primary, only providing the transactional facility. I would say that as an MFD, as you are asking that the technology beyond transaction facilities, I would say that any platform, any software should provide end-to-end solution. Matlab, how you can use that platform or the software to acquire clients, how you can save your time so that you can become more productive, how you can analyze your existing business so that, as Basu said, that you can approach the client going forward, how you can analyze, how the platform or the software can help you create the brand. So beyond transactions also, we need to look at the software or the platform. Now, few certain examples. Now, for transactions, we'll be using any platform, but at the same time, say for example, I want to acquire clients. Now, how your software will help you create a content, create a videos which are co-branded, which you can place anywhere in the market. Say for example, we are talking about acquiring client with various campaigns available, email campaign आप कर लीजिए. There are various softwares available which you can use to reach many clients in the market, many potential investors in the market. Those tools are also available. I would say that already MFD is managing the AUM of 100, 200, 500 crores of AUM. Out of probably they might be catering to 500,000 clients. I think it is practically impossible for any MFD to cater to more than 100, 150 clients. So obviously, we all need to have some kind of tools or the software which can help us categorize the client based on our own requirement. How we can use based on various products, because many of the softwares what we are using is only giving the answer to the mutual funds. But me as a distributor is dealing in multiple products. So I want to categorize my client based on the multiple products. And based on that categorization, I know that I should give my focus to which set of clients, because 80-20 rule is there everywhere in every product. So if you talk about client acquisition, if you talk about client analysis, I think as Basu said that predictive analysis or artificial intelligence, I think for me, I think all these are very, very big words as in today's time. बिकॉज अभी भी हमने बेसिक काम नहीं किया, हम आगे आई थिंक सिंपल 1000 क्लाइंट में से एक ही क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ कि डू यू हैव द सॉफ्टवेयर और समथिंग विच कैन एटलीस्ट टेल यू दैट दिस क्लाइंट हैज नॉट ट्रांजेक्टेड विथ मी फॉर आफ्टर सो एंड सो डेट. एक सिंपल एग्जाम्पल, दिस क्लाइंट had SIPs of X amount before 10 years or 5 years or 2 years. Today that SIP has come down drastically. Do you have a software to analyze or pinpoint that this relationship of yours, the client of yours, I think is the relationship is going down? Do you have a facility wherein you can be in touch with all your clients through systems, through technology? Today, 1,000 clients, managing 1,000 clients, analyzing the portfolio of 1,000 clients is impossible for anybody. If you expect that I will update my clients on a regular basis, I will download the portfolio, I'll send the portfolio, I'll draft a mail, which is practically impossible. And today, if you are not doing this, that means the client will feel that he's isolated. My distributor is not monitoring my investments. So obviously, he gets attracted to somebody else. So you need to have some kind of system technology wherein you are able to update at whatever frequency you are deciding, so that you are connected to your clients. I think आज अभी income tax का season आ जाएगा, advance tax का season आ जाएगा. I think your software should be able to provide auto mail to your clients for the advance tax purpose. So my point is, we as a MFD or distribution community should look at the software which is holistic in approach. It should not be looked at on a transaction level. दूर की बात है, बाद में करेंगे, but whatever is available amongst various softwares available in the market, if at least we can use those features, I think probably it will help us compete with the fintechs and everyone. That is what I would say.
Thank you, Shirish. I think you have covered almost all the tools that comes inside a client's or investor's life cycle, starting from acquisition till the review and ongoing. Thank you very much. Girish, I would like to know if some MFD or every MFD has the aspiration to grow. And using technology, if somebody wants to set up a aspiration of growing 10x, how can technology help?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you everyone, and thank you Cafe Mutual for giving us the opportunity. Both Shirish and Amit talked about technology, right? And all of you are using technology in some form or shape. The question is, what is the business problem that you're trying to solve for, right? Using that technology. If you go back and focus on that, and when you implement that technology that is solving the actual problem that your clients are facing, that's when the growth automatically happens, right? And the growth that I'm interpreting the growth that we are talking about is sustainable, profitable growth. It's not just acquiring new customers. What I'll do, I'll give you some specific examples of the technology that we've used in Happiness Factory for our own clients, as well as for our partners who are actually using for their clients. So if you think about the overall life cycle of a client, right, starting from, let's say, lead generation to prospect and then prospect to client, let's take a couple of examples in this life cycle. So assume that you've identified through your lead gen process, there is a prospect. Now it's an ideal prospect for you, right? Every single potential client is not your client. So let's say you've identified an ideal prospect. Now what happens over here in Happiness Factory is that there is a tool or set of technology based on certain information about that prospect, basic information such as, let's say, the age of the prospect or marital status, and certain assumptions. The tech actually creates an opportunity roadmap automatically, right? What that means is that the opportunity roadmap says that, look, these are the potential goals that this prospect may have. And the goal can be as simple as, well, I have to take care of my retirement. I have to set aside some money for my child's education based on very basic information, right? And tech actually then puts that in an email in a very visually appealing manner and sends that email out to the prospect, right? Now imagine this is how we've used the tech. Now what the tech has done over here is that it is automatically changed the conversation, made it about prospects' goals. It is already distinguish you from someone who's doing a product conversation or a return conversation, right? More often than not, what we've seen is that because of this type of a tech innovation, we get a meeting with the prospect. So then the prospect comes, sits in front of you or online meeting. Then the goal-based investing platform, which is the core of what Happiness Factory does, goal-based investing platform takes over, right? And essentially, see, I go back to the first question, what is the problem that you're trying to solve for? For that prospect or a potential client, his goals are the most important things, right? So the goal-based investing platform, along with the financial coach who sits in front of that person, gives that prospect complete clarity about his financial life, end to end. All the goals are planned, then the platform actually takes care of, okay, what other assets you already have. It pulls everything together and creates a holistic sort of roadmap for his goals. Now imagine what you've done. You actually now helping that client get clarity about his financial life, right? What this tech does is that it creates an emotional connection with the prospect, with the client. And then the transaction happens. But how this is connected with the growth, number one, there is an emotional connection. It is highly likely that the client is going to come to you. Number two, you've actually given him clarity or her clarity about their financial life. You're able to capture a bigger share of wallet of that client, right? So those are two specific examples I would give, that this is how we've used tech and our partners are using tech, and that has actually given us a lot of benefit.
Thank you, Girish. So
Can I add one point in this?
yeah, sure.
Because here we are talking about how the MFD can grow 10x. I think the biggest point I would say that we all should get rid of the processes, what we spend. I think just analyze our day-to-day activities. I think 15-20% of our time goes in a day-to-day processes. If you have some technology, if you have some process, wherein at least if you can transfer in automation all these processes, so you save your 20-25% time, give that time to the purpose what you are for. The purpose of any MFD, I would say that if you want to really grow the business to 10x, I think more time should be given to the client acquisition, meeting clients, analyzing the portfolio. But if I'm spending my time in day-to-day operations, then definitely it is not going to happen. So I would say that simple. I think standardize the processes which is taking a lot of time of yours.
I completely agree with you. Actually, if you can manage and try to eliminate the manual efforts or the repetitive tasks that you do in day-to-day operations, if you're able to automate that to a certain extent, that time you can actually sit in front of clients, prospects, and get more business. Thank you. Amit, I would like to know how AI can help being more productive for a distributor.
So I spoke about how you can increase your sales efficiency by kind of doing a funnel and picking up clients who transact in near future. I also spoke to you about how this predictive thing can help in reducing your time. I have not met a distributor who loves operations. I only meet distributors who love sales and relationship management. Nobody is in the business to do operations or technology or compliance or anything else. Everybody is in the business because they want to do relationship management and sales. And hence more time given to that, I think is the key to success. A lot of times you have to make a choice, right? A decision has to be made. You decided to come to this Cafe Mutual conference. Why? Because you kind of did some mental calculation and found out, okay, this is the best choice we have today. One of the very difficult choice that is to be made for everyone is to choose a scheme. And I'm giving you a use case because it's easy to understand. How do you choose a scheme? One factor, two factor, many factors. It doesn't depend upon one factor. So when you have a multi-factor decision-making process, what do you do? How will you choose? The AI can come and help you. Okay. You list down all your parameters, which are important. It can be performance, rolling return, drawdown, last year's performance, 5-year performance, SIP performance, standard deviation. You can list down subjective parameters, fund manager, legacy, fund house, pedigree, and you make a list of everything, including brokerage, including service support. You list down everything, assign weights to each of these parameters, okay, and then prioritize them, which is your top priority, which is your last priority. So arrange all the parameters in a descending order of priority, put a weight against that, give it to the model. It will give you a score for every fund. And then you choose the fund which has the highest score, or you can have a look at the ranking which has come basis your decision. It's not very easy to evaluate when you have a multi-factor decision making. And most of the decisions that we make today are multi-factor. Right? You can also become very effective by reducing outflow. So if my model tells me that out of the X amount of SIPs that are coming in my system, these 10 SIPs are likely to get closed next month. We would like to have that data in advance. Everybody wants to have the data in advance. You can stop leakages. There are multiple uses. You can create newsletters customized for single client if you have an AI tool like that. Not a newsletter which is generic. If you have 100 clients can receive 100 newsletters in different languages, built as per their choice and as per their preference and their taste. So that's the power that this system has. It's a very it's like a ये सुई धागा वाला जो सुई है ना ये वो है कपड़े तो सिल सकती है मगर गलत यूज करेंगे तो हाथ में भी चुभ सकती है. So be careful, it can stitch lot of things. And if you're not careful, it will hurt you. So very cautious use of the technology without hurting anyone and can bring wonders to all this productivity and growth story. You can have analysis. If I ask you that, okay, your top 10 fund managers, what is their view on, say, banking and finance in last 5 years? Give me a summary. Okay. It can give you out that report. It can give you even, it can even vet an agreement also, whether it's right or wrong. It has powers beyond our imagination. We use few of them in our system, like a predictive analysis. Just to share data, last month we were 74% accurate, which means that out of 100 transactions which happened, 74 were pre-identified. And if we keep using this model over and over again, the number will go up to 90s. Okay? Because every time the model learns itself and it keeps on giving you outcome which is more productive. So I would say that both efficiency and effectiveness of business can improve with technology, and specifically with the AI. You have to understand who will use it in what form, and it's a modular system. You heard about modular kitchen? Which one is better, modular one or the earlier one? In the modular one, you can replace anything with a new thing and it doesn't disturb the entire setup. And that is what this system is going to come with. It will come with modular fittings. Plug and play, and if you don't want it, you want something else, you can remove it and take a new one. So this is something which is happening across the world. We shouldn't be left behind, and if we are leaving behind this very important part of business, we'll be in trouble in front of clients as well as in terms of business.
Thank you, Amit. Shirish, my next question to you is, if we are projecting ourselves and our portfolios to our investors in a digital format, what more can be done in that front to enhance the client experience on digital end?
So you are talking about how me as a MFD or a distributor can create my digital impression in the minds of my client. So if I go back to 10, 15 years back, The relationship of a distributor and a client was the trust. That my forefather, my father was dealing with the client with LIC. I have taken over and the relationship continues. So that was a trust and the relationship. If I go 5, 10 years back, probably that has changed with the returns. Today, probably even if you give the returns, even if you give the trust and everything, probably what you still need to give is the experience to the client. So maybe I think in today's time, it is practically impossible to go and meet the client. So what is more important, how you create your digital experience in the minds of clients. Now your digital journey actually starts from probably day zero or minus, I would say. It starts from the client prospect or the client acquisition. Now today, I would say that any MFD would be acquiring client by referral or maybe through social media or various email campaigns or even physical activities or whatever we call it. So first impression in the minds of my prospect would be, say for example, if me as a MFD is seeking a referral, do you have any referral seeking tool which can your existing clients, which your existing clients can use? So I think whenever the existing client is sending somebody the digital tool, that is the first impression I am trying to create. If I'm talking about social media marketing, if I'm talking about email marketing to acquire to my prospect, now today when I am doing all these things, now the person sitting across might not be knowing me. How I'm giving that impression to my prospect? So we all need to question ourselves that do we have a digital card also? Do we have a website which can give a complete detail to my prospect so that when the prospect is finalizing me as his MFD, I think he should know everything about me. So I would say that the first impression is the digital card. Then once the client is okay meeting me, probably I would say that do I use the various tools available for the online meeting? So again, that is very much possibility. If the client is ready to invest with me, then do I have a capability of onboard the client seamlessly? Digital onboarding of the client very, very seamlessly. If the client has started investing with me, I keep on meeting the client. Do I have a capability of recording each and every meeting, minutes of the meeting, which is stored for lifelong? So whenever I meet after 10 years with the client and if I need to retrieve all the information, whether that is available or not. If the client is saying that I want to invest XYZ amount, how you present digitally? I think, do you have a capability wherein you can project your suggestions or the recommendation in a way it should have been? So that is again a digital footprint. When the client had started investing with you for years, how you are creating your impression in the minds of your clients by providing, say, for example, regular update to your clients digitally. So I would say that you can create the impression in the minds of your client by using various tools available in the market. Try to create that digital impression so that even if the client is thinking of replacing you in future, probably this will keep the bond with the client. आज की डेट में there are many softwares available, very tools available in the market. So we all need to understand that do we have a capability of evaluating various options available in the market? If one has the evaluation capability, then do we have that monetary edge that every software, every tool will be available at a cost? So do we have that amount or what you call it? Even if you buy those tools, I think if every tools are working in isolation, then again it won't have. So probably I would say that I think it should be put on a single platform somewhere. I think whatever you are using, so it should be linked somewhere so that you can still give a digital experience to the client. And last and not the least, I think you need to empower your clients wherein they can track their complete investments sitting at their home or through the mobile. I think through your application or whatever, that is also very, very important. So I would say digital footprint one need to create wherein you can give that impression to the client.
Thank you, Shirish. I think this is a nice takeaway. Having a different systems, but they are isolated. We should make those systems talk each other automatically. That will help you as well as investor have a seamless digital experience. Thank you. Girish, I would like to know, as we are MFDs and we are trying to grow, at some point of time, we have to have a business succession. And also, if there are any mergers and acquisitions that needs to happen, how can technology help in this space? If you could share some sites.
Yeah, certainly. So we do speak with a lot of MFDs who are looking for succession solutions as well as business exit. And since Happiness Factory does both B2C, we have our own clients, plus B2B, we have that capability to offer both the solutions. I'll take an example of the MFD who's looking for business exit. What is the most important, rather overarching question for that MFD when we have that conversation, right? And the question is, what will I get? When I sell this practice or business to you, what will I get? Now, answer to that question depends upon something called an enterprise value. So what does that mean? कि MFD होके आप exactly क्या sell कर रहे हो? Is it 250 client relationships जो आपके पास है वो sell कर रहे हो? Or you've created a business around those 250 client relationships. So you've got some skilled people, you've got some processes, and you've got some tech. ये sell कर रहे हो तो उसकी value obviously is more. So that's the enterprise value, right? And tech actually, along with, of course, appropriate processes and people, can boost the enterprise value of whatever that you're trying to sell for. And we already talked about what kind of tech, right? The tech that will help you have a meaningful conversation with your clients. In my opinion, that's the most important piece of tech. So for example, let's say goal-based investing, or tech that will allow you to do some lead generation. Tech that is helping you look at your entire client base from an analytical standpoint, right? Data analytics. You don't have to have all these pieces, right? But the various pieces that come together in the tech, that obviously, if you're looking for an exit, that boosts the value of your business. So that's on the exit side. On the succession planning, you know, what I often hear when MFT is talking about succession is that I have identified someone. Identification of someone is not a succession plan. It's an important step in the succession plan, right? But how do you modernize your firm before you actually hand over your business to that successor? Otherwise, you're going to pass on all the problems that you have over to that successor, right? How do you modernize? How do you make it multi-generation? Your firm lasts multi-generation, right? So that's where, again, tech plays an important role. All these aspects wherein essentially the tech that is allowing you to make your business repeatable and scalable is the tech. It adds value to your existing business.
Okay, that's a good insight. Enterprise value. When you're dealing with clients, we all talk about AUM and SIP book, but what is the overall value that you as a company is bringing in that creates the valuation at the time of maybe succession planning and also the exit? And another point that you have nicely brought up, that is on multi-generational. Are you able to groom your next generation into this business? Are they interested? Whether they have different aspirations. In that case, what are the succession plans that you have in place or you should start looking at? Thank you, Girish. So with this, we have discussed a lot of insights from growing technology, implementing the backend operations, lead generations, AI, how these tools and aspects help in your business growth. With this, thank you very much for sharing these insights.
Just one thing before we
Thank
close, I think when you get a new technology, please remember it is not up to the standard which you expect. If you remember, microprocessors or processors in computers used to be so slow that हम जब टाइप करते थे तो कभी-कभी रुकना पड़ता था कि वो दिखता नहीं था स्क्रीन पे. If I go back 20 years, today they work at a speed where you can't match. Okay, because for the future there is no data. Data is all for the past. So for future you need a theory, not a data. And divide your offerings into 3 buckets. One is hygiene, which everyone is giving. The second is good to have, and third is the differentiator. So if you switch off the AC of this room, if you don't keep the hygiene, it will become bad. But if you put on the AC, it's not going to improve the delivery standard. So hygiene is something, absence of that makes the life miserable. Presence of that doesn't improve the life. And then you have the good to have and then the differentiator. The differentiator today is AI and technology. And if you don't use the differentiator, we will be in the middle only and not moving above. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.